Yes, everybody can see my screen.
Yes, yes.
So can we start? Any queries about the last topics? Anything? Okay, so no issues. We will start now. So yesterday we covered till the last slide over here, single and container and multiple container. Now this is just for an information purpose, just to get an idea about the HANA database. What exactly is a HANA database? See, normally they have made a HANA database very advanced, and they have added many features and new facilities to the database which are not there in normal other databases. For example, if you compare the other databases, they are just a back end application. If you go with the normal conventional definition of a database, it is a back-end software, and to use the database, you need to have a front-end application which will access your back-end system. So databases is normally only for storing data. Okay, and the front-end application, it will ask for request for the data from the database system, and it will store database into the database system. That is the work of the normal database. But in HANA, what they have done, if you see over here, okay, so here if you see, this is the database. Okay, this is the beta, but this is also not the completed. This only if you see over here, I think this is the normal conventional feature of a other database system. Okay, they provide you a database system with SQL script, search, text analysis, and all. But in HANA, in addition to this normal database feature, they also provide you this additional feature. Okay, application function library, spatial and predictive planning analysis. This is in addition to the normal database feature. Other than that, in HANA database, they also provide you an application server. Okay, what do you mean by this application server? It means the HANA database is not only a backend system, but you can also design your own applications into the HANA database. So it also acts as a front end platform. Also, you can design your own front end applications in HANA database. How? So there is a service over here which is called as an extended application services, access services. The access services, this services, if you let me start our system. Okay. So yesterday when I showed you about your the different system stuff, I'll show you on the screen. If you have this, see here you can see. If you see over here, this is the XSS server. This is the XSS server. This is the extended services advanced server. This is actually the front end application. You can say this is the processor that provide you with the front end platform. You can design your own applications into this platform, and you can also publish it, and people can use it. So to give you an example, let the system start, and I will give an example of this front end application. So this is the in addition to the database traditional database services, it also provide you a front end platform in which you can design your application to access the database. Okay, but it is not like you cannot compare with other application. You can only the only supported platforms for this is these are. You can design your application in JavaScript, HTML5, and application and UI services, user interface services. So these are the two platforms in which you can design your services. In short, you can design your service which you can only access through the HTTP protocol. Okay, and if you want to design something like if you want to use VBA or .NET, ASP.NET, and other types of programming languages, then you have to program it in a separate platform, and you can connect it to your HANA database. So these are the separate platforms in which you can design your own application system programs, and then you can connect it to your HANA database. Other than if you don't want to use any other third-party platform and all, you can also design your application in this XSA, and you can directly access it from your HANA database. No need for any separate front-end application. So let me start the database. So if you see over here, you can see the access service over here. See, this is the access engine. Okay, so the database has started now. Now, if I go into CD, mesh, USR, recipe, HTTP, HTTP, to CD HANA shared H4D. CD/HANA shared H4D, and here we will find the HDB LCM. Here HDB LCM web. So it will give an error, no issues. I just wanted the URL. So I'm taking, this is the URL and I will open it into our. Okay, so it is asking for the username and password. So here you have to give the SID ADM username, H4D ADM and the password. So if you see over here, this is the web page for the HANA platform lifecycle management. So there, I don't want to show you the product, the lifecycle management, but you can see this application, something like this. You can design your own applications in line like this way. This is the SAP UI5 version of user interface. You can design something like this in tiles and everything. This application, it is not designed in any third party. It is directly coming from within your HANA database. It is directly coming from your HANA database. You can see the view system information. So this is the system information, and then you can see the other information over here: update system, components, install, add, overall. So this is an application over here. So similar like this, you can also design your own application on this platform, on the SAP XSA platform. Okay, on this SAP XSA platform. Other than that, if you see over here in the bottom of the screen, see there are it also provides you tools. It also provides you tools over here: replication, streaming, and ETL, extraction, transformation, and layout tool to integrate data or to source data from different sources. So these are the different sources from where you can source data into your HANA database. Okay, for example, structured data. Structured data means any RDBMS database, any RDBMS system. This is that is called the structured data. Then you can also as a social network. Social network means your Facebook, Instagram, and other. Then you have the text data. Text data, something like as your SMS services. Then you have the geospatial, satellite data, machine data. If you have big machines in your factories and plants, you can source data from there also. Then you have this RFID. This is something as barcode and security tags. If you have gone into malls and all, you'll find that there are small security tags which is attached to your clothing and all. And at the time when you when you pay the bill over there, they remove the clothing from there. So these are actually, you can call these are small sensors. Small sensors or small data collection points. Okay, and then you have this RDMS Hadoop also. You can also source your data from Hadoop data. Hadoop, which is a big data. The database type of this is a big data type. So you can also source your data from all these type of database platforms into your HANA database. So this is it. Any queries on this? Can you move forward?
Muzaffar, how do we access that extended application services?
Extended application service, what you are talking about, this HDB LCM or anything else what you're thinking?
The now you showed like HDB LCM, right?
Yes, yes.
And you said the extended application, that is Access Server, is one of the platforms for creating this type of applications. So how do we access that platform?
Okay, so see, when we do the last topic that we'll be doing, that is your topic HANA Cockpit. So we will see in detail the HANA Cockpit, because the HANA Cockpit application or that solution is also designed in XSA solution. Okay, so where we will see a little bit in detail over there, how to access that, how to see what are the services running in XSA and other things. I think.
Okay.
H4C. Okay, so if you see over here at the time, this is for the installation. Okay, so you can see configuration. So here we'll see that how to access the solution. So here is, these are the access, the cockpit check, how to see the version of your access, extended services, how to log in into access admin, how to check what are the spaces or different over there, how to check what are the apps which are running in access. but it will be only related to management and administration. We are not going into the part of developing any application. Okay, developing any application or integrating any application into the XSA platform.
Okay, got it.
So yes, so now. Okay, so now let's move ahead to the next screen over here, which is the HANA sizing. Now, what exactly is a HANA sizing? So, see, there are the type. What are the types of sizing? So
Sorry,
normally, in
Muzaffar,
your
I have one question like regarding previous content related to integration of third-party applications. So, in this HANA, no need of PI or PO application.
PI, PO for what?
Integration from third party.
Okay, so yes, like see over here, it says that it is already provided the tools for integration. So it depends upon what platform you are sourcing your data from. If the platform that you are sourcing the data from is from one of these source or one of these platforms, then it has already provided you all the tools which you require to get your data from these sources. These tools are already integrated into your HANA installation, HANA platform. So you don't need any third-party tool to get the data from these sources. But if it is from any other sources which is not mentioned over here, then you might need some other sourcing tool or sourcing like a platform or software for sourcing the data from that platform.
Okay, as of scenario like in ECC, if you are if we getting some interface with legacy application or some other portal, Oracle portal, so PI is one of SAP tool where we integrate and get the data in ECC or ECC to third party tool, that Oracle application.
Okay.
So in this scenario, some predefined tool are available in HANA where we get the data, right?
See, when you're talking about PI and PO, that is process integration or process orchestration, that is an advanced tool. It is not, you cannot compare it with an ETL tool. ETL is the extraction, transformation, and layout. So PI or PO is not an ETL tool. It is an advanced tool. During that course of integration, it extracts some data from the source system, but while it brings to the target system, it also does many other activities or many other programs and what it is regarding to do. It is all the integration and bringing and this data from the source system, plus doing some more manipulation with that data. So that is not an ETL tool. Here we are talking only about the ETL. ETL means, for example, you have a source system, for example, your Oracle database. In that Oracle database, you have some tables. You have defined some. There are some tables of that. So what you can do from that table, you can bring you can pull the data. You can source the data from that Oracle database into your HANA database. So it is already provided you this ETL tool. With this ETL tool, what you can do, you can give the source. We can create a connection and you can give a source database, Oracle database. You can give the tables. Okay, these are the source table, and you can also do a mapping with the target table. You can from the source table, for example, this is a table for address. So from the source table, you bring that data into the target table. For example, address 1. In the table, in the source table, there might be like 4 columns, but in the target, you might have more than 4 or 5 columns. So you will define that this column will be mapped to this column and this. So what it will do, it will just extract the data from the source database into your HANA database. That is called as extraction, transformation, and layout.
Okay, thank you. In our current situation now, we have PI, we have ECC, and we have third-party Oracle tool.
Okay.
Oracle application. So we are getting some table extraction from Oracle via PI, and getting target system is ECC. So that data will like production data. Production means production of vehicle. After that is in ECC that we have also implemented PM or PP module, right? Then that data finally data reach into SAP ECC. Then sales people, logistic people will processing their invoicing.
Yes, I
So,
understand.
yes.
Okay.
So
yes. Okay.
so if we go for HANA, Then PI is not need in this scenario.
No, no, as I told you, see, PI, you are comparing PI with the ETL tool. PI is not an ETL tool.
Okay.
PI is not used for sourcing data.
Okay.
Though
So
it is
here
one of the
I
it is
can
one
use.
of the part. It
Okay.
is one of the part of PI to get data from a different legacy system or from other SAP systems or from a non-SAP system, but it is not only limited to ETL. See, I will just give a small example to for everyone to understand what is the PI and PO. Now, for example, you have your SAP system, ERP system running in your organization. Okay, but and also for attendance, for daily attendance and time sheet, what you have a biometric system which is installed in your premises. Okay, what is this biometric system? For example, at every gate, at every entry point, you have a machine with the finger scanner. Okay, with a fingerprint scanner. So what happens every day when the staff comes in, the first they will punch in their fingerprint, and as soon as they punch it, it will mark as a timing, and at the time of exit, at the exit point, they will also have an barcode scanner. They will also have a fingerprint scanner, and when they punch it over there, it will mark as a timeout. Now this data is collected. See, so you do SAP doesn't provide any structure, any solution for this biometric system. So you have a third party solutions for the biometric system. The third party vendor, what they will provide their machine. They will also provide their own software, own application, which will collect data from this biometric system into a centralized system. This might be a desktop, a small servers or anything. It can also collect data into database tables, or it can also collect data into Excel sheets also. So what this third party system, for example, this biometric system, they at every entry points, whenever the user punches in, that this data is collected into the biometric server and stored in this table. Now what you will do, how this data will go into your ERP system. So here you can bring in PO. What a PO will do, it will collect the data. It will collect the data from this biometric system application. It will collect the data. It will import, or it will import that data into your ERP system. And not only importing, after importing, it will again process the data and bring it. It will take it forward. It might affect some more workflows. It might have some workflows. So as soon as the information is brought into the system, it might run some other background job, some other tools and stuff. So you see that this is a PO is not only an sourcing application. It also has you can also manipulate data, and you can also create multiple programs after one another. So what happens with this data? You can bring the data into your ERP system, then you can update some other tables, you can run some programs into your HR systems to update this data, create timesheets and everything into that. So do you get it? So
Yes.
it is not a replacement. This is not a replacement. Here you can only collect simple data. You can only get data from other source system, but after that you cannot process it with some other logic, because that logic is there in the application server.
Yeah,
What
clear.
to do with that data?
It's clear. Now, just you explained the biometrics. Same scenario we have implemented, but we not use PO. In this scenario, we have used FTP. Then
Okay, what you have
biometric
used?
FTP
Okay.
server. So where data third party application collect the biometric data and kept in on FTP, where ERP ECC program will fetch that data, and background job and web program will update the data in like HR module.
Yeah. See, the process, earlier it was called as process integration. Earlier it was a very limited role, but now they are calling it PO, process orchestration. So after bringing the data into the ERP system, you can again use many logic to process the data. You can create multiple processes. If this data comes to the system, then check the data. What is it? If this is the result, then do this. If that is, then do that. Inform this person, something like as a workflow and all. So it will start continuing with a string of commands or something like that.
String of programs, a web program.
Yes, that is it.
Like a app program, and also it send back and revert the update of that data data is updated or not, data is failed or not, like that.
Yes.
There are multiple functionality available in PO.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank
Yes.
you.
Okay, so now let's moving forward. So here we comes for the HANA sizing. So in this HANA sizing, now there are two types of sizing. Okay, it depends on your existing landscape. It depends on your existing scenario. So what are the two types of sizing? Is a greenfield sizing and the brownfield. So what is a greenfield sizing? Greenfield sizing, as the name suggests, it means the field, that the field is green. There is nothing on the field, only grass. It's only green. So it means that in your existing environment, you don't have any SAP system. Okay, what you are using are legacy applications, non-SAP application, non-SAP ERP system. So that will be counted as your greenfield. It means that when you are doing an implementation of SAP, you will be doing it from scratch, from square one. So everything has to be done from starting. That is called as a greenfield implementation. And what is a brownfield? Brownfield means you already have an SAP solution in place. What solution in place? For example, you already have something called as a old system, like you have an R3 system, you might have an SAP ECC system, you have an SAP ECC 5.0, 6.0 system, and now you want to change, you want to upgrade, or you want to move, or you want to migrate to your S4HANA solution. So this is here, what is, you already have a solution in place. Okay, now what you have to do, you already have the system structure, all the tables are there. So you don't have to start from scratch. You will just build a new system and will import the data from your existing system into your new solution. That is from your SAP ECC system to your SAP S4HANA system. So that is called as a brownfield implementation. And the first one is the greenfield implementation. So now what is the difference in both of this, greenfield sizing and brownfield sizing? The reason here is that in brownfield you already have SAP running in your environment. Okay, so SAP is already running, and the SAP system is already working in your organization, and all the your day-to-day activities, HR activities, finance activities, and all the other sales and distribution activities, activities, those all are processed in the ERP system. So the SAP system already has the information about your current landscape. How are you, what are you using, how are you using, and what is your current organization requirement. So moving from an existing ERP system into your some other S4HANA system is relatively easy. So in that case, how will you do the sizing? So normally what happens, SAP provides you some ready-made ABAP programs, or you can call it ABAP reports. So what you can do in your existing ECC system, you will run this report. When you run this report, the report will do all the calculation. It will take all the information from your existing SAP system, and it will give you a report. It will give an output. In that output, it will suggest, or it will advise you that what will be your future, what will be your requirement, what will be your processor requirement, memory requirement, disk requirement, and all this requirement for moving to the new solution. Do you get my point? So here you just have to run that report and you will get that information. Okay, what will be the sizing of your S4HANA system, or the other product that you're migrating to or moving to. So here the sizing becomes relatively easy. But in a green field where you don't have any SAP application, then that cases the sizing is a bit complicated. How complicated? Because you have to like understand, you have to understand from like what will be your requirement, like how many users will be using that application, your SAP application, how many concurrent user means at a time parallelly how many users will be connecting to your system, and what type of activity they will be doing. Like for example, what kind of how many invoices will they be creating, how many line items will be there in that invoicing, then how many HR activities will go on, what are the sales and distribution, all the different things have to be taken into consideration. So that is a relatively complicated process to do a sizing for a system, for a greenfield or from scratch. Okay, so did you understand this? What are the types of sizes, greenfield and brownfield? Okay, so now let's move to the second, the sizing approach. Now we have seen the types of sizing. So if you have brownfield sizing, you will run the SAP report and you will get the sizing. Okay, you will set the sizing that how many memory you want, how many processor you want, what is the disk requirement. So here you have quite clear. So after getting this requirement, what now you have two types of approach. You have two types of sizing approach. One is the HANA appliance and the second is the TDI approach, TDI, tailored data center integration. Now, what is the difference between these two? SAP HANA appliance and the TDI. Now, in an appliance, as the name suggests, it is something like as a black box. Black box means it will be a server only. Okay, it will be a server only, but it is not openly. It is not openly allowable. But it means the server will be provided by the vendor with a pre-installed HANA software into it. So you will not be doing the installation. You will not be doing the HANA installation on that appliance. It will come pre-installed with the HANA database. Okay, so once you get this appliance, you have to mount it. You have to commission it into your data center. You have to rack it, mount it, and to connect everything, power it on. After powering it on, then you have to add your application server and you will have to install your own application server. See, the appliance will come pre-installed with the HANA database, but for the application servers, you have to do the installation of the application server. So that is your appliance. That is your appliance approach. If you want to go for an appliance, okay, there are many partners. There are many SAP partners which provides HANA appliances. For example, of them are IBM, HP, Dell, and Fujitsu, Huawei. These are all the some of the partners which provide HANA appliances. So when you approach, or if you want to see like what appliances are there, you have this on your website. You can find this page over. This is the SAP HANA hardware directory. If you go on this page over here, you can see certified and supported SAP HANA hardware directory. Okay, here you can see all the appliances and what are the configuration of those appliances. So you can choose from those appliances based on your result of that sizing. You can choose the which appliance you want to go for. Whether you want to go with a 1 TB memory appliance, 2 TB, 4 TB, 6 TB, 8 TB, and how much disk you want in that. So you can approach the vendor or the partner, SAP partner, and also these appliances should are SAP certified. These SAP appliances are SAP certified. Okay, these appliances are certified to run HANA database on it. So are we clear with the appliance HANA appliance approach? Okay, so now when after HANA appliances, the next comes your tailored data center integration. What is the tailored data center integration? TDI. In the TDI approach, when you get the report, how many processor you want, memory you want, and this one, you can go for open systems. You can go for open system. Open system in the means you don't need to go with the appliances. You can go with the same configuration of hardware. But in this TDI case, as the HANA database will not come pre-installed on the server. The vendor, the hardware vendor, whatever hardware you select for your implementation, the hardware vendor will only provide you a blank hardware. It will only provide you a hardware at your location. Now it is your duty or it is your responsibility to install the operating system on it, and you can after installing the operating system, then installing the HANA database on it. That is your responsibility. Either you can go with a you can directly install the HANA database on the operating system, or you can install a virtualization layer platform. You can install a hypervisor, and on the top of the hypervisor, you can create VMs, and inside that VMs, you can install your HANA database. So that is called your TDI integration. The main only difference is that in HANA appliances, HANA database comes pre-installed, and in TDI you have to install it manually. Is it clear? Any doubts? Any on this?
Yes,
Okay,
very good. Good.
yes, can you come again? What? Okay, so let's move forward. So the sizing approach here, this is the hardware directory. If you're going with the appliances, you can look for the certified appliances on the SAP website or the SAP link. Like what are the certified appliances? You can choose from there. And the second comes your quick sizer tool. Now, what is this quick sizer tool? Now, as I told you that, for example, if you are going with a greenfield implementation, you don't have any existing setup on which you can, through which you can calculate whether how much sizing, how much HANA sizing you need. In that case, the SAP has provided a quick sizer tool on its website. What you need to do, you just need to go to the quick sizer tool. But here is a catch over here. You need an SAP S user password for this. You cannot directly go and use that tool. So you need an SAP user ID and password for it. After logging into that link on this quick sizer tool, it will ask you to create a project. You can create a project, and in that project, it will ask you many kind of things. Here, this is a quick sizer tool, initial hardware sizing to support your business. Then you have this HANA version. You can decide for which HANA version you are going into. In this, now you have a long list of questionnaires. Okay, it will ask you what kind of is it and everything over here. So this you can see over. These are the list of questions over here. Okay, your compute services, sales. You can see sales and services. Okay, depending on your sales and services, and depending on your product dev and evolution, and then language, logistic, everything it depends on. So as this is some kind, it's like a wizard or it's like a tool. So when you start doing it, it will show you one by one. Everything is screen over here. You have to fill up the screen. You have to provide all the data, whatever it is asking. And after completing of this tool, when you click on the finish, it will give you an output. On that output, it will give you that based on your input, this is the recommended sizing for your HANA implementation. There it will give you all this CPU requirement, the memory requirement, this requirement, and everything. So is it clear? Any doubts on this? Okay, so let us move forward in this. So quick sizer. Now next come the installation part. There's nothing, we have already done the installation. So just for your information purpose, what kind of installations can you do? You can do a single SID installation or a multiple SID installation. Now, what is a single SID installation and multiple SID installation? For example, you have one HANA VM, or your, or for example, you have a physical server or you have virtual machine. Okay, physical machine or a virtual machine. So in that scenario, what you can do is that, so for example, this is your system. It can be a physical system or it can be a virtual machine. Now in this system, what you can do, you can only do one single installation of your SAP HANA. You can do one single HANA installation. That is called as a single SAP HANA system. You are installing only one database into one system. That is called a single SID. Now the other option is that you can install multiple SIDs, or you can install multiple HANA installations into one system. Okay, this is where is this required? See, as I told you, for the appliances, so those appliances, they come with high amount of memory. For example, you buy appliances with 512 GB, or you buy appliance with 1 TB of memory. Now you cannot install a one single instance on that 1 TB. You cannot only deploy a one instance on that 1 TB application. Okay, so what you will do, to utilize that memory, what you will do, you will install multiple installation, multiple HANA SIDs into that. You might install a dev system. You will install a quality system in the same appliance. Okay, so you can go for you might buy two appliances of, like, for example, 1 TB each. On one appliances, you'll only install one production HANA instance. On the second appliance, you will install development as well as quality, both of these into the second appliance. Okay, but you will limit the memory consumption of both the instances. You will not allow the development to use 100% of the memory. You will have to limit it. There is a parameter in SAP called as a global allocation limit. With that parameter, you can limit the memory consumption of that HANA instance. So here you will limit the memory consumption of the dev instance to 30%, and here you will limit the memory consumption of quality instance to 70%. Because if you don't do this, your both of these instances will clash with each other. It will create memory issues and it will create issues in the system. Is this clear with you all? Single HANA system and multiple SAP HANA system.
Okay, I have a question.
Okay, can you move forward? Let me move forward.
Hello.
Okay, now this is the SAP HANA file system layout. Okay, we have already created this mount point. So just for your information purpose, what are the mount points that what are the recommended by SAP? So under the slash, under the root file system, the root volume, you will be creating a HANA directory slash HANA. Under slash HANA, you will be creating the first one will be for your data volume. That will be your slash HANA slash data. What it will contain? It will contain one SID directory. Okay, so if you see over here, if you go inside this CD slash HANA, in this HANA directory, you will find these three directories slash HANA data, slash HANA log, and slash HANA share. As it is given here in this screen, slash HANA data, slash HANA log, and slash HANA shared. What does this HANA data will contain? The HANA data will contain your, okay, the HANA data, inside the HANA data, it will contain your SID directory, the name of the SID. So here, if you are doing a multiple SID installation, so under this HANA data directory, you will find multiple SIDs. If you are doing a multiple SID installation, if it's a single installation, single SID installation, then you will find only one SID directory over here. So if you go inside the directory, you will find this MNT directory, HDB directory. Inside this HDB, you'll find the MNT directory, or inside this MNT directory, you'll find this all directory. HDB 001 and this. So if I see ls minus capital R 3 command, okay, 3 command, ls minus capital R, if I go into slash HANA data. So you can see under HANA data, you have the SID directory, under SID you have MNT, under MNT you have these directories, and under each of these directories, you have the data volume for each of these different services or processes. So here you can see under the HANA data, you have the SID, under SID you have the MNT, under the MNT you have HDB, and then you have the data volume. Same goes for the log volume. In the log volume or log directory also, you have the SID directory, under SID you have the MNT, HDB, and the log segment, different log segments over here. CD slash HANA log SID. In here you have the MNT, here you have the HDB. HDB, you have different HDBs. Okay, for this is for your tenant database. Under this you will find the logs over here. These are the log segments. Now here you have the shared directory. Under the shared directory, you have the SID, and these are all the software for your HANA database. The shared directory contains the software for your all the binaries and scripts for your HANA database. This is the database for you. Okay, something if you compare it with the Oracle, then it will be your home directory. Oracle home directory. This is the Oracle home directory. And other than that, for other application, for your host agent and everything, you have this directory, which is your USR SAP directory. This is your USR SAP directory, and this is the file system layout.
Do we have a USR SAP directory in our installed?
Yes, it is by default. Actually, we have not created it as a separate mount point. I have not created it as a separate mount point. It is a part of the. It is created on your slash in your root volume root file system as a directory. So here you go into USR SAP. Okay, you can see here it is your USR ls minus capital slash USR SAP. This is your directory. So you can see there is so much information over here. Okay, so you are in the USR SAP, you have SID directory, host control. Host control is the directory for your SAP host agent. We'll come to know about it. That will be taken part in that. SAP host agent is an agent which interacts between your operating system and your SAP solution, SAP product. So for any type of SAP installation, you'll find this host agent on your operating system. In case of an application server, also you'll find this SAP host agent. So it interacts, it is an intermediary between your operating system and your SAP product, any product. It can be HANA database, it can be an application server, solution manager, and many different. Then you comes your SAP service. These are the two files over here, which define the path, which start the SAP start serve process at the time of startup. And then these are the different directives which contains all these files and all. Okay, and the reason behind creating this as a mount point and not this as a mount point is that if you are going for a multi-host installation, you will have to these mount points. If you go for a multi-host installation, these mount points will be shared between multiple hosts. This will be shared between multiple hosts, but the USR SAP directory, it will not be shared between multiple hosts. It will always be a local directory. So that is the reason if we are not created, and the size also of the directory is not that much. du minus CSS/USR SAP. So if you see the size over here, it is somewhere around 200 MB. Or let me come out of here. Okay, so it is 201 MB. So no need to create it as a separate mount point. Okay, so is it clear with the file system layout? Can we move forward?
Yes.
Okay, so now comes very important part that we'll be starting with, that is the backup and recovery. Just let me take a minute break. Any queries, any doubts for the previous slides and everything, anything? Okay, so now let's move on the backup and recovery. So before starting with the practical, let's understand what the backup types and everything before we start with the practicals. Configuration. Okay, so here is the configuration. Okay, so starting with the HANA installation and HANA Studio. Okay, so now see, most of you are already familiar with the databases and you're already familiar with the types of backups and everything. Here also, I think only the terminology will be a little just mismatch, but apart from that, the logic is the same. So now we'll take up this as what are the types of backup types. So as you know, there are two types of backup. One is your data backup and the second is your log backup. Okay. Anyone having any doubt on this about the log backup? If you want any clarity, anyone clear with it?
No, okay, this is Sudip Kumar. A log backup is what kind of log? Is it just like we have archive log of all the logs which is generating? Means this log will have what type of info? Only the general log information about how the database is running and all, or the log of the data?
No, this is the log of the data. What is the difference when you say the log of the data and the general log?
No. So whenever we are in general, when we see in Oracle, whatever we are doing, all those changes are being captured in redo log. Yes. And those redo logs are circular. I mean, in circular basis, they are keep on writing the logs in redo log files. But we are taking the backup of those redo log file to avoid any issue in archive logs. And those archive logs, we are saying it is a log backup.
Yes, so that is okay. That concept is like it is proprietary to Oracle. Here you can see the logs. It is created. I showed you about the log segments. Okay, these I showed you the log segments over here. You can see the log segments cd/hana log SID MNT. This is the tenant database logs. So you can see the log segments over here. So you can compare this log segment to the archive log that you are referring to. Okay.
Okay.
So
Okay.
here there is nothing called as a here you will not find your
Redo logs or something.
redo
Or
log. So here
archive.
there is no concept of redo log that the data goes into the redo log, and from time to time that redo logs is cycled and you create the archive logs are created over here. It is not that. So here whenever the logs are dumped on the disk, it is dumped into your log segment. And when you take a backup, you take a backup of these log segments.
Is it similar to what yesterday we have seen that when there is a what you call a power breakdown, so till the save point, all those data are written directly to the database. Yeah, means the consistent. Yeah, okay. And whatever the changes is there till the save point, all those are captured in the log. Is this
Log,
file?
yes, these are the log file log volumes over here. Or you can also refer the log segment. That is the data volume, and this is the log segment. So all that data. So after every commit, the data from the log buffer is written to this log segments over here. Okay, it's written to the log segments, and when you take a backup of the log segments, the log segments which are backed up, they are deleted or they are recycled into the system. Do you understand? Do you get it?
Yes, yes.
Okay, so here it is. So now you have understood what is the log backup. If you still any doubts, you can anyone any down with the log backup? If you want an explanation, anyone? Okay, I think nobody needs it, then we will not waste the time. Let us move forward. Okay, so now here coming to the backups, there are two types of backup. One is your data backup and the second is your log backup. Okay, now what is this data backup? Data backup means the data which is already written into your data volumes. Okay, the data which is already written into rows and like tables, the data which is already written into the tables in your data volumes. Okay, so where these all this data, when you take up this backups of this data, there are two types of backup: full backup and delta backup. Okay, simple full backup means you take the complete backup of your data volumes. Everything inside your data volumes, you back it up. That is called as a full backup. Simple. Delta backup means you don't take a full backup of all the data which is there in the system. So then what do you take? So under delta backups, you have two types of backup. One is the incremental backup and second we have the differential backup. Now what is the incremental backup? Backup changes since last successful full or incremental backup. Okay, so now what is it? For incremental, during incremental backup, it will only backup those data which was changed after the last backup. Okay, we'll see the details in the next slide. So this is just for understanding that the changes, the backup changes which has done since the last successful full backup or incremental backup. Differential backup. Then what is the differential backup? Differential backup means backup changes since last successful full backup. So the difference between incremental and differential backup is that in an incremental backup, the last reference, it will be any backup. But in case of differential backup, it will only refer to the last full backup, not to the incremental backup or differential backup. It will only refer to the last full backup. Do you get it?
So that means suppose if we have full backup on Sunday, okay, So differential backup, if we are running daily, so it so
Wait,
suppose
I will explain that in the next slide. So
yes,
this
yes,
is just for your this is just to understand your
okay,
terminology, the jargons which I use over here. So you have two types of backup: data backup, log backup. In the data backup, you have two types: full backup, delta backup, and inside and under delta backup, you have two backups: incremental backup and differential backup. Okay, is that clear?
yeah, this is clear.
Okay.
Now, okay, is there any kind of offline or online backup for HANA?
No, here in HANA, there is no type of offline backup. There is no concept of offline backup.
Okay, okay,
Everything is taken online only. Okay, I have never used that approach of that shutting down the database and copy paste of your data volumes and checking, because there is no
yes,
concept
yes.
of it. Here only in here you don't find this concept about it's compared to Oracle. You don't have offline backup, so that is called as your cold backup and hot backup. Here it is not like that. Everything is taken online only.
Okay, okay. Muzaffar, here in my company, I'm taking online backup of these by putting the what you call the data files in backup mode.
Yes.
Okay, so those kind of backup here we have.
No,
Because
actually, here it is in Oracle. You have Oracle they have given you that you can say that they have given you that option to put that backups in backup mode, and here everything is automated. Means you don't have to do anything manually. You just start the backup. It will take the backup, dump it, and it will complete the backup. Nothing else. You don't have to put anything into backup mode, and you have to worry about the archive log, the archive log which are created during the time of that online backup. You have to back up that. Nothing of that sort. You just take a full.
we'll see all the how we will take the backup, correct? In the
Yes, we are going
practical.
to see that.
Okay,
Yes, we will see
okay.
that. So here it is. So this is how it is done over here. This everything is, you don't have to worry about all this and all. So this is one of this, like you can say, advantages or a good feature of a HANA database. Okay, so now let us move on to the next thing. I think we'll take a 10-15 minute break before continuing. Is it okay?
Okay, okay.
Yes, yes.
Yes, everyone.
Yes, Muzaffar, yes, it's okay.
Yes. Okay. Thank you. See you. Yes, everybody back?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, Muzaffar.
Yes, so we have seen the backup types for this HANA database. Now let us next move on to the understand what are these backups. So what are this difference between these different types of data backups. Now here from this slide, we'll try to understand that what are the different types of backups which are there. Okay. Okay, so now first have a look at this first option. So okay, just for information, the first screen, this over here, it denotes your calendar or a week. Okay, this is your week. Sunday, starting from Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So it completes one cycle, starting from Sunday, ending on Sunday. So it completes one week cycle. Okay, so during that week cycle, for example, we have this three types of different types of backup. We'll see the difference between them: the full backup, incremental backup, and differential backup. Now, what happens in a full backup? Now, for example, the backups, the database size of your database is 800 GB. Okay, the size of your database is 800 GB. So when you run a full backup on the first day, that is Sunday, it will create a backup of 800 GB. Again, same when you do it on the next day, Monday, it will again create a backup of 800 GB. Next day, same, it will go on for the next size. So even if you cross 1 week, 2 weeks, 1 month, 2 months. So if you have scheduled a full backup, the daily backup size of your database will be the size of your the size that is of your database. Here in case, for example, you have taken as 800 GB. So this is it. So everybody clear with the full backup concept? Yes, everyone.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now we have understood what is a full backup. Now let us take what is an incremental backup. Now what happens in incremental backup? The first time when you trigger an incremental backup, it means first time means that there are no previous backups taken. You have not taken any previous backup. So when the first time, for example, the case will be that the first time after installation, if you run an incremental backup, even if you run an incremental backup, the first backup will be a full backup. Why? Because it doesn't have a reference. Incremental means whatever changes has been done, it has to back up that. But since there is no previous backup, so it cannot know what changes are there. So in any case, the first backup will always be full backup. So on Sunday, the incremental, when you schedule incremental backup, the first backup will be a full backup. Okay, the first backup will be a full backup. Now the next day, coming on to the next day, so what it will do next day when again the incremental backup will run, it will not back up the full database. It will not back up the full data. It will only back up the changes which have made since the last full backup. Okay, so the last full backup was on Sunday. So on Sunday it took a full backup. So the next day on Monday when it is going to take a backup, it will see that there are only 20 GB of data which has changed. So it will back up only those 20 GB. Similarly, moving ahead to the next day, on the Tuesday, it will take the changes which have been done after the previous incremental backup. So after the previous incremental backup, the changes were done of 15 GB. So it will only take the backup of 15 GB data. Similarly, it goes on the next day. For example, it's a mid of the week, so there is no much activity. So the backup, the change data was only of 10 GB. So it will only take the backup of the data which is changed in the last incremental backup, and so on. It goes up. Okay, here it is. So up till Saturday, again you have a incremental backup. Normally, here in this case, you cannot keep on going over incremental backup for an unlimited time. Okay, so what happens when you finish this on the Saturday, again on the Sunday, you will again schedule a full backup. You will schedule a full backup. Okay, so normally what is done, you have a weekly full backup and daily incremental backup. So weekly full backup any day you select. So normal here it is, for example, you have selected Sunday. The reason for Sunday is that because Sunday is the weekend and the most of the load on the servers are less on a Sunday. So that is the reason you schedule your backups on Sunday. But there is no such hard and fast rule that you have to do it on Sundays only. It's up to you. Whenever you understand, okay, on this day my database has less load, you can schedule the full backup on that day of the week. Okay, so here is an example that every week on Sunday, you are starting with a full backup. And during the weekdays, you are taking incremental backups. And again, when the cycle completes of 7 days, again on the 8th day or the first day of the week, you again take a full backup. So again, it goes on the same. The cycle will come back to the same. Sunday full backup, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday incremental backup, and so it goes on. Okay, and the reason behind doing this, you say, sir, why do we need to take weekly full backup? We can just go with on incremental backup. See, what is incremental backup? It is only the changes made. Now, for example, if I have taken my backup, my first backup which I have taken, so this my backup is on, say, for example, it was taken on March. So I think it was taken, for example, it was taken 1st of March. It was taken on 1st of March 2022. So this is the day of my first backup over here. Okay, and so it goes on. This is the day of my first backup. On the Monday, it will be 2nd of March, 3rd of March, 4th of March, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th. I have not taken a full backup after that. So every day it is an incremental backup. Now, suppose, for example, on one day, just for an example, on the 30th of March. On the 30th of March 2022, my database is crashes. Okay, the database crashes down. Now what happens? I've got a request. Okay, you have to restore the backup. Not only crash, it may be like, for example, there was some unwanted data which has come into the database, or there is some corruption, there is some logical error or something like that. So you have got a request to restore the backup since yesterday. Now what happens? You have the increment, you have the full backup on of 1st of March. After that, till 30th March, every day you have an incremental backup. So if I want to restore my backup till the 29th of March or till the 30th of March, or the morning of 30, I got a request on the 30th March that at 12 o'clock there was some correction in the database. So I need to restore my backup up till 11 o'clock on the 30th of March. Now, if I want to restore backup, so see, I cannot start with the incremental backup. I have to first restore the full backup. So the full backup is for the 1st of March. So 1st of March, first I have to restore the 1st of March, then the incremental backup. 2nd March incremental backup, 3rd March, 4th March, 5th March, there will be 29th incremental backup. So this is a lot. It will take a lot of time for restoration. Okay, because it has to restore the 30 incremental backups of every day. So that is the reason you don't keep a long list of incremental backups. So that is the reason we go for weekly full backup and daily incremental backup. So that in case if my backup, for example, if my system crashes on the Wednesday, this day, and the date of this day is 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th of March, for example, the date of this is 4th of March. So what I will have to do, I will have to just restore the full backup of 1st March. I have to restore the full backup of 1st March, and I have to only restore the 2 or 3 incremental backups in between. I don't have to restore a long list of incremental backups. Do you understand this concept? Yes, everyone.
Yes.
Okay. So this is what is it? Incremental backup. This what we talk about is incremental backup. Now, what is differential backup? A very simple thing is that in incremental backup, what happens every day the backup, so the same differential also, the first backup, if you schedule a differential backup for the first backup, it will always be a full backup, because there is no previous reference for a differential backup. The first backup will be taken as a full backup. So on the first day, you take a full backup of 800 GB. The second day, since the data is change of only 20 GB, it will only take a backup of 20 GB. The data which is changed since the last full backup, that is 20 GB. It will take a backup of only 20 GB. Okay. Now comes Tuesday. What happens on Tuesday? Now Tuesday, it will not take a backup of only the changes which are done since the last full backup. Since the last incremental backup, it will back up all the changes which were done since the last full backup. That is your 20 GB plus your 15 GB. Is it clear? So on Tuesday, it will back up the changes which were done since Sunday. That is 20 GB plus 15 GB. That will take a backup of 35 GB. Same again on Wednesday, it will back up all the data which was changed in the last full backup. That is 20 GB plus 15 GB plus 10 GB. That is 45 GB. Again, the same thing. It will take a backup all the which was changed since the last full backup. Okay, it goes on. Up till this day, 20 plus 15 plus 10 plus 10, again then 20 plus 15 plus 10. This it will take all the every day. It will take all these backups. It is also, you can also compare it as a cumulative backup. So cumulative backup. So yes, everybody clear with this backup concepts?
So Muzaffar, if we have a full database backup scheduled every week, and if we have incremental backup scheduled, for example, twice a day, okay? So do we need to schedule differential backups as well?
No, actually it depends on your company's policy. It doesn't mean that you have to schedule both of these backups. You have to schedule differential also, you have to schedule incremental also. Okay, normally incremental backup is enough, but some company will again say, okay, for example, if this is a 1 week, it's a 1 week of time. And what happens? My database crashes on my Friday. If the database crashes on Friday, then again I have to restore the full backup. Then I have to restore at least 4 incrementals in between. Okay, so here what will do, the company will have a backup policy such that instead of having incremental with the daily, they will schedule one differential backup in between over here. They will schedule one differential backup on the Wednesday. They will schedule one differential backup on Wednesday. Okay, and again it will take an incremental backup. So again, when the incremental backup runs on this one, again when the incremental backup runs on Thursday, it will only take up the difference which was again since the last differential backup. Okay, so now what happens if my database crashes on Friday? I don't have to restore all this incremental backup till here. I just have to directly restore the full backup of Sunday, then the differential backup of Wednesday, and the incremental backup of Thursday. So this is a lesser number of restores. So the lesser number of restores means it will be a little faster. The RTO time, the recovery time objective will be less.
Yeah, got it.
So it depends on a different organization. They have their backup policies like that, like how much it depends on the RTO. Some CEO or some CTO will say, no, this is too much time. I don't want the RTO time to be of 2 hours. Okay, the backup restore, normally it is not 2 hours. Maybe say you will say, sir, at least if I'm going to restore a full backup and 5-7 incremental backup, it will take at least 30 minutes. So you will say, no, 30 minutes is too high for that. So don't just make it less. So what you will do, you will take an so instead of if you're saying make it 10, then instead of scheduling the incremental backup, you will schedule a differential backup every day. So in any case, you will only have to restore 2 backups, one full backup and the last differential backup. So it depends on your company's policies and requirements.
Sure, got it.
Okay, and the drawback of differential backup is that see the size consumed for every backup size keeps on increasing. Okay, here it is. This is the drawback of your differential backup. Here in the incremental backup, you see this daily increment backup, the size is less. So this is the one plus point of incremental backup, and the negative point is that if you at a time of a restore, the number of restores will be more than in case of differential backup. Okay, so these are the examples of your backup, different backups, full backup, incremental, and differential backup.
Where are these backups stored? File systems?
Yes, they are stored in the file system. We'll see in the practical that we'll be doing now.
Okay.
So here it is. Now,
Muzaffar, backup will store in file system or directly tape? It's depend upon the.
see, it depends on your configuration. By default, the backup is scheduled. By default, the backup is configured to go on the file system.
Configure on the file system, but backup restore on tape directly, na? Because if file system got corrupt.
See, that is configuration. You can configure it as you want it. Okay, I see. Normally, what you are saying is correct. Okay, but by default, when you do an HANA installation, the backup is configured to go on the file system. Now, after the installation, when you configure your backup agent on your HANA database, that is called the back end, that time you will configure the HANA database to redirect the database, redirect the backup instead of going on the file system onto your anywhere, tape storage, cloud storage, this storage, wherever you want.
Okay, okay. Thank you.
Next comes how to schedule backups. So there are different types of ways in which you can schedule backups. Okay. So let us just complete this theoretical part and then move on to the practical. So how to schedule backups. So first is from your OS level. You can schedule your backup from the OS level. How you can schedule? You can create backup scripts and you can schedule them in cron. Backup sheets scheduled in cron service. So you can take backups through the OS level, schedule it on the OS level. Second, you can schedule it through your app server. Where in app server can you schedule it? You can schedule it through your DBA cockpit T code or through your DB13 T code. That is your DBA calendar. You can schedule it from anywhere from here. Third, you can schedule it from your HANA cockpit. Okay, you can schedule the backups, regular backups from your HANA cockpit. SAP provided utility for managing HANA DBs. And the last one is your backup software. So you can use third-party backup softwares to configure backups, take your backup. For example, you can use Commvault, Veeam, Veritas Net Backup, and all these products for taking your backups. So is this part clear?
Yeah. Muzaffar,
Yes.
in the last slide, just before this, the final backup will have 880 GB on Sunday, next Sunday, correct? But you have written
Yeah.
800.
Yes, I explained that to you. Let me again explain to you.
I got one call, that's why maybe I missed. I'm
So you're
sorry for
talking
that.
about this, na?
Yes.
See, I told you about that. See, you
880
cannot
increase,
you
yeah,
cannot
please.
go with. Oh, sorry. Just complete your sentence.
Yeah, no, you please continue. I think I have missed
Okay.
something
See,
because
what I mean to explain here is that you cannot go with forever incremental. You cannot schedule an incremental backup forever. That every day you will have an incremental backup, because what happens after 3 months? Okay, for example, you have scheduled incremental backups every day, and after 3 months, if you get a requirement to restore the database, then you cannot go back 3 months and then restore the full backup, which is 3
yeah,
months
we
old, and
cannot.
then restore 90 incremental backups.
Yeah.
Okay,
Correct.
so you have to shorten the cycle. So here it is a cycle. So this is one cycle. What is this cycle?
Yeah, this is 1 week cycle
This
of
is a 1 week
increment.
cycle. Sorry,
Yes,
this is a 1
yes.
week cycle where the first day of the week will have a full backup and you have daily incremental backup. And again, when the cycle completes, again when the 8th day, the first day of the week will again have a full backup and then again incremental backup. So in
Okay.
that case,
I have
if
what my question is, Muzaffar, sorry. So suppose from past Sunday 8, when initiated, we have 800 GB. Then we have the data growth of 80 GB.
Okay.
Then on Sunday, it should be 880 GB full backup, correct?
Okay. Yes. You can tell that. But actually, what is happening over here? This concept, if you go into that depth, actually, these are all changed data.
Okay.
So you cannot understand the exact size. Okay, you can have an aggregate size that okay, my data is incremented by 8 GB.
Even it can reduce the size also.
Yes, it can reduce also, it can increase also. It depends on
It is
what
just
type
a
of
change.
increments.
Okay. Clear. Please, next slide.
Okay, so
Thank
now
you.
Okay, how to schedule backups over? Because this is a very common question which many people ask me. How do you schedule backups? Because normally, if you can take backups from HANA Studio only allows you to take one-time backup. You cannot schedule your backups from HANA Studio. Okay, so if you want to schedule recurring backups, if you want to schedule backups, if you in your regular backup, then you have to have either of these approach only. You can have your OS scripts, you can have app server, or you can have your HANA cockpit, and the last you can purchase a third-party backup software for this. Now the last slide over here, backup storage. Where can you store your backup? So these are the 3 different options you can have where you can store your backup. The first is a disk. Okay, the first is your disk. Instead of a disk, I think you can call it not a local. Let me just call it disk backup. So instead of local, let me call it a disk backup. Okay, so it can be a local disk. Okay, it can be a network share. It can be a network disk, local, or it can be a network disk. So here it is. So you can take backups, or that there are different types of backups. You can. I think it already covers the network. Okay, so everything on the network will go. Sorry. So let it remain network only. Let it remain as a local only. So what are the different types of backups? So the first thing will be a local backup. So on the same server in which you have your HANA database, you will take a backup on the same server. On the same server in a local disk. On a local disk. So that will be, this will be example a local disk. Local backup means local disk. So what is the advantage or benefits of a local disk? It is fast. local backups are very fast. Okay, but what is the drawback? What is the demerit? It is expensive. Expensive because you are taking backup from the disk storage, and the disk storage are costly. The disk storages are costly because you might be having SSD disk for your local storage, and SSD disks are quite expensive. So if you are keeping a backup on local disk, it will cost you, it will be expensive for you. Second, you can take backups on network. So what do you mean by network? You can have a NFS share. You can take your network, you can store your backup on NFS shares, or you can also have your AWS EFS, which is similar to NFS concept, that it is a network share. So you can store your backups on network also. And third comes your cloud storage. You can also use your cloud as your backup storage, for example, which is your AWS S3. So in case of a cloud storage, it is cheap, but it is slow. So this is the final slide for your backup storage. Any doubts till now before we move ahead with the practicals?
Muzaffar, in case of
Yes.
local backup storage, so
Mhm.
one is advantage is fast but expensive. Second drawback, this is advantage, but there is a drawback of slowness because same time there is a transactional or other things is happen on same local server, and meanwhile backup is also running. So it's a good
No,
practice.
you see, in that case, now what I will say is that, for example, if you're taking a local backup, so you will not take backups during the time when it is peak hours. Okay, you might schedule your backup when it at the non-peak hours. For example, at midnight, 12 o'clock in the midnight, when there is very less load on the system.
Okay.
Okay, so it will not slow down your system. Okay, second option is that you will not take the backup in the same volume on which you are keeping your database volume or database data file. You will keep that info. Take the backup on a separate volume, so that the IOs doesn't get distributed among your for your backups also and for your data volumes also. So if you're keeping it on a separate volume, then the IOs will be different. Do you get the point?
Yes, yes. Thank you.
Okay. So now let us move ahead. This is our system. Okay. So now now starting with the configuration part, let us start with over here. First thing that we need to do, download the HANA Studio software. Let me download the HANA Studio software. Okay, so HANA Studio, I think it is already downloaded on that C drive packages. The software is not downloaded here on the Windows system, so first we need to download the software. Okay, so it is done. The software is downloaded. Where it is? Here is the software. HANA Studio 256. This is the software over here. Now go into this. I'm using the command line, but you can, if you want, you can also. Okay, for extraction, you need to go into the command line. Okay, so here I'm going into CD packages. Go into CD packages. DIR. This is the package for your HANA Studio. Here it is in a SAR archive format. It is in a SAP archive SAR format. So first thing is that you need to extract it. You need to extract this HANA Studio package. How you extract it? You will use the command SAP-car -xf and the archive file. So here it is. So just paste this command. Okay, so now I'm extracting this archive over here. So you see it will get created one directory here by the name is SAP HANA Studio, and under this it is extracting the software package. So it takes some time to extraction. Okay, so it has extracted. And the package is extracted under the directory. If you want to install, you can directly go here and run the HTTP setup. Okay, but it will open and then we will start next. You have to click next and wait for some time. So if you don't want to do this, you can directly run this command from your command line to just install that package in batch mode. Batch mode means it will not ask you for anything. It will just take all the default values and it will complete the installation. For this path, we have already provided the path where to install it, and for the other things, it will take as a default option. So I can just directly install it from here. So here it is created a new command window, and here it is installing it in here.
This we are installing on host machine only.
This we are installing. This is a GUI tool. This is a GUI tool on Windows system. So you can install it in any of your Windows environment in your system.
Okay.
Sorry, in your landscape. And you also have HANA Studio for Linux also. You can also install HANA Studio at the time while installing your HANA database also. So at that time, you will have to, you can, if you can use the studio which is installed there in along with your database, but that becomes very slow because then you'll have to have this X-Ming software, and you'll have to, it will open that HANA Studio into on your Windows desktop. That becomes slow. So that is the reason it's preferable to keep it on a Windows system which is already there in the same landscape, same network.
Okay, maybe it's a silly question, but why we are in? Okay, we have HANA database on Linux machine. Why we are installing the studio on Windows machine? What we are going to do with the studio?
Okay, see, okay, once let it complete, you will see the application, that will understand what is it.
Okay, okay, okay. But how it will connect to the database? We have to give something to connect this to the database.
We will do everything. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Because see, if I wanted to like hide something from you, I would already have installed it, and I will just open that application and showed you over here. This is how it is done. But the reason of me like downloading in front of you and then installing in front of you is to give an idea that how things are done from scratch.
Okay.
Okay, so the installation now is completed. Okay. So let us minimize this windows which is not required. Now, where is that application? Okay, open the start menu. Okay, here you can see this application, SAP HANA Studio. It is recently added. So just copy it on your desktop. Just copy it onto your desktop. So here I can see I have created a link to my SAP HANA Studio. Now, this is the reason of this of installing on your Windows system is this because it's a GUI tool. Okay, as I said, that's a GUI application. You get it both for Windows also and for Linux also. You can install it on Linux also. But the reason of not installing on Linux is that opening that GUI tool from your Linux system onto this system, it will create some latency issues, and also GUI applications are not very good, or it doesn't work very better on Linux environments. So that is the reason I installed it on a Windows platform. Okay. So your first time you have to do some configurations. It's a very minute configuration. Use this as a default and do not ask again. Launch. Okay, a master password was created in Eclipse Secure Storage. If you ever need to recover your password, you need the password hint. Do you want to provide a password hint? Yes. Now question, it will ask you question, you have to answer it. I keep it very simple. 1 plus 1, 2, 2 plus 2, 4. So, okay. Now it is done. Now I can use the software over here. So this is just a welcome window. I don't need the welcome window. Just close this welcome window. Okay. Now what you see over here is the HANA Studio software application. Okay. So now we have downloaded the software and we have installed it. Now comes the part of add system in HANA Studio. So now we have to add the databases into your HANA Studio. Okay, so now first I will add the system DB. First I will add the system DB. So click on this add. Just click on this add system button. It will give you the window. Now you have to put the host name. The host name for your database database server that you want to connect to, the database server. Or you can also give the IP address here. It's up to you. You can either give the host name or you can either give the IP address. The instance number of our HANA database 03, then what is it? Either it's a single container or a multiple container. So now you know that we don't use single container, we go to use with multiple container. They have given you a single container just for backward compatibility. In case some people, they still have some databases with single containers in the environment, they can use this latest HANA Studio to connect to those databases. So multiple containers, under multiple containers system database and description, you can give the description as dev. So this is my development or dev HANA database. Now you have to click on next. Here you can give the username password. So here I'm giving the system username, the username of the database administrator user. Okay, and the password of my system user. Now I can click on finish, or you can also click over here store username and password. So if you store the username and password, so next time if I close this application HANA Studio and again I reopen it, so next time again I have to provide this password for this connection. So instead of again re-entering the password for the connection, I can store it into here only. But don't go for it if you are using it on a common desktop or common PC. Okay, in your environment, in your landscape, if that PC is used by multiple teams or multiple users and everything and others, then don't store this password over here, because this is a system user which is a super user of for your database. So don't store this password. You can just without storing, you can just create a connection, use it, and just close it before leaving the system. So, but in case I know that this PC of mine is not being used by any other user, I will store the password, name and password in it. Finish. So now you can see on the left side, it has created a connection to the system DB of H4D instance. SID of the H4D SID. This is the system DB of the H4D instance, and this is the username, system username, and this is the description. This is the dev system, and you can see green. It means all the services have been started. If you want to explore this HANA Studio, you can double click on this window over here. You can see an overview. The first is it should be an overview. You can see all the information over here: operational status, system usage, everything. SAP HANA use memory. So you the total memory allocated to this instance is available to this is 28 GB. The used memory is 7.74 GB. Resident memory, CPU usage, and many other things. You can see disk usage. Now you can go on the landscape. You can click this. You can see the processes which are running. The same processes which you see from the command line, you can see it from here also. How much CPU each process is using, how much memory each process is using, alerts, okay, performance, volumes, the data volume. So here you can see the data volume. So this is the server. Under this server, you have the data volumes and the log volumes, log segments. So you can click on data. In the data on the below side, you can see how many data volumes are there. So this is the data volume 001, volume total, volume super blocks, and many other information you can find it over here. This is the configuration sheet where you can do all the configurations for your database. It contains all the parameters for your database configuration, the configuration sheet. The configuration tab, sorry. System information, it contains other information about the system, diagnosis files, and the trace files, the same location which we saw yesterday. The diagnosis file, the same location which we saw yesterday, where we see all this, what are the changes made in your, the trace files location. Trace configuration. So here you can explore that. Then you have this backup sub tab catalog. Okay, leave it. Now we have done with the system DB. Now let us add the tenant DB. So again, click on the add button. Again, in the host name, give the same host name, IP address. If you give the IP address, the instance number will also be the same common. Multiple containers, but now here we'll be adding the tenant database. The tenant database is by this SID. You have to add the SID of the name of the tenant database. Okay, this is the name of the tenant database, H4B. Now description, the description of this is dev. This is a development system. So description will be dev. Next, again, we can save the user and password over here. Store the information, password, finish. Yeah, I forgot to click on that. System, password, store user password. Okay, so here I've added this. This is my system DB, and this is my tenant database. Is it clear? Now we have added both of my databases into your HANA Studio. Now from here, from this HANA Studio, you can manage your databases. You can administrate your database from this application from the HANA Studio. So I added my databases into the HANA Studio. Okay, the first thing what you can do, the first thing, database licenses. So in case in your environment, the first thing that you will need to do is to install the license for your database. Okay, you have to install the database licenses. This is normally not done in any other SAP product. Okay, if you have installed an ERP system with a Oracle database, you don't need to install any license on the Oracle database because it is managed by the application server. Same case goes with the MaxDB database also and the Sybase database also. You don't need to install the license separately because when you install the application server, the licenses are installed by the application server. But here in this case, you have to install the license. So where do you install the license? System DB. You have to go in the system DB, right click and properties. In the properties under the license tab over here, you can see over here. So by default, you can see what we are using is a temporary license. Okay, and the start date is 20th March 2022 and the expiration date is June 18th. That is almost 3 months time. So it's a 3-month temporary license. So if you are using for your own practice and all use it, that 3 months is a very good time, enough time for to do your all your practices and practicals, everything. So you can install a license from here. So since we don't have any license, we cannot install. But in case if you want to install your license, you have to click on the install license key, and it will ask you for the file, the text file. It's a normal, general, simple text file. You just have to give the path of your text file and click on open, and it will install the license into this in this database. the license key will not be installed. License file is empty. Okay. So if you want to install it, you can install it from your install license key, and you can see the details from your licenses. So the product name, the description, the permanent false. So here from here you can do install the license. So this will be your one of the first activity that you will be doing after installing your HANA database, installing the HANA license. And one more thing for information, the license is stored. The license is stored in the system DB, not in the tenant DB. So in case in the future, if you are going to restore the only the tenant database, no need for installing the license again. But if you are going to restore the system DB of another database, then your license file will become invalid. So again, you have to reinstall the license in that case. But if you're reinstalling the database backup of the same system DB, then it is not required. So here it's for the license. Second comes your backup destination. Where do you want to take your backups? What's the backup destination? You have to go into the backup tab. So if for under system DB, all this configuration is done under system DB, not in the tenant database. So you can just close this tenant. So everything now here is the backup tab over here. Double click on it. Okay, here under backup, you have to go for configuration tab. Here is the configuration tab. Under backup configuration, here you have to file-based data backup settings. So if you see over here, this is the location by default where your backups will go. USR, SAP, SID, HDB, instance number, backup data. This is the default location. And so this is the same only USR, SAP, SID. This is no changes over here. Second, where will your backup? Where will your data backups will go? Okay, I'm just doing a minor change. Instead of putting inside /data, I'm removing this /data. Okay, so I'm changing the backup location from that this location to this location. USR, SAP, SID, HDB, instance number, backup. This is the location. Second, the log backup location. So the log backup location, USR, SAP, SID, HDB, instance number, backup, log. So I'm not changing this location. No change in this location. Next come your backup interval. So which backup interval? This is talking about your log backup interval. You have a setting over here by which you can schedule your log backup. So here it says every 15 minutes. So I'm going to change it to every 5 minutes. So I'm going to change it from 15 minutes to 5 minutes. Okay, so this is it. Destination, this. Okay, now the next option is enable automatic log backup. If you want to take enable automatic log backup, you can click on your enable count. So this option will only be applicable if this enable automatic log backup. Hello. Yeah, sorry. Can anyone you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, sorry, I got some issue with my earphone. Okay, so here is the enable automatic log backup. So in case if you don't want to enable automatic log backup, you can uncheck this box. So this is just for information, but we are not going to uncheck this box. We have only changed the backup location of the database backup. The log backup is also the same. No change in the log backup. I changed the backup interval to 5 minutes, and it will be as it is. Now I'm saving this settings. So from here you can save it. So you can see the settings have been changed. So my backup will be every 5 minutes. So right now the time is 9:12. So in the next 3 minutes, my backup, the log backup will be automatically backed up into this location. If you see the current location, CD/USR, SAP, SID, and HDB instance number under this the backup. See here, there is no backup directory, over here, because still there is no backup triggered till now. So we'll wait for some time till 9:15, and we'll see that the backup will be triggered for the log backup, and we'll take the log backup. It will create a backup directory over here and take a log backup under it. Done. I have changed this. I have changed this. This part was not applicable. No need for changing the auto. No need for disabling the automatic log backup. Okay. Now next configuration is your log mode. Now by default in HANA, the database is always in log mode. Okay, which is similar to your archive log mode in Oracle database. So by default, the database will always generate a log for your activities. So in case if you want to disable the log backup, in case if you want to disable the log backup, you can go into configuration tab. Okay. You can go into this configuration. No, this is a system DB and configuration, not this configuration. Not this configuration. You have to go into the system DB over here and under the configuration, this configuration tab. You have to come into this configuration tab, global.ini. You have to go into global.ini. Global.ini, under global.ini persistence. Go to the persistence submenu. Here you can see persistence. This is the persistence submenu. Under persistence log mode, go into log mode. So this is the log mode. So you can see the log mode is normal. Normal means it is in log mode. The log mode is enabled. So in case if you want to disable the log mode for system database, you can go and change it to override. Once you change it to override, the log mode will be disabled. And when you go into your data, this if you want to change for your database, you need to go into for this database. If you double click on it, so this is for the system. This is for the system DB. You can change it to override, and this is for the databases. This is for the your tenant databases. So you can either select which tenant database you want to disable the log, or you can put it for all. So here you can select the database and you can put it into override mode and click on save. Once you save it, this database will be changed. The log mode will be disabled for those databases. But this is just for your information purpose. We are not going to disable the log mode. This is just for your understanding that how to disable a log mode in HANA database. Is it clear? Okay, now next, the next changes is your global allocation limit. What do you mean by global allocation limit? The global allocation limit, if you see over here, by default, the allocation limit is set to 90% of the first 64 GB. It means if you have installed an HANA database on an system, the HANA database will acquire, or it will reserve or 90% of the system memory. For example, if it's of 64 GB, then the 90% of that 64 GB will be reserved for your HANA database. Okay, it will use up to 90% of your system memory, up to 90%. It will not reserve at the starting. So this is up to 64 GB of physical memory on the host, plus 90% of each further GB. So in case if you have, for example, a memory size is 128 GB, so for 64 GB, it will reserve 90%, and for the additional 64 GB, it will reserve 97%. Do you get this calculation? So this is the reason where I told you that if you are doing a multi-SID installation, if you are installing multiple HANA databases into one system, then you need to change this setting over here. For example, your memory size for your system memory is 512 GB. Okay, so what you can come over here and for your SID. So this is for your this system. For your development system or for my H4D SID, I will go into the configuration tab and I will go into global allocation. It is under configuration global.ini memory manager. Okay, here under you will find it say EF persistence, not under persistence, global.ini memory. Global.ini memory manager. Under global.ini memory manager, global allocation limit. So here you can see the global allocation limit. So by default it is set to 0. 0 means it is not enabled. So here I can give the value by what value I want my system to limit the memory usage. So here for the system memory, I can limit the memory usage to say this is for 100 GB. So that is in case if your system is using for say like 128 GB system, then you can limit it to 100 GB. But in our case, if you want to limit it, it is already 32 GB. You can limit it to something like say 16.1316384. That is your 16 GB. You can limit your HANA memory usage to 16 GB or something like this. So this is where you limit your HANA memory global allocation limit. But I'm not saving it. I'm just canceling it and coming out. So this is just also for your information, how you can limit your global allocation limit. Okay, now we are already.
Yeah, one question from my side.
Yes,
The
sir.
parameter changes that you have done, are these changes static or dynamic?
Yes, these changes are dynamic because see, if it's I think if you come on that for the global allocation limit, if I open it, memory manager default value, restore default. Some place it will show you whether this value is dynamic or whether it is static. In case of static, then you need to restart the database, but wherever it is showing a dynamic, you don't need to restart the database. I don't remember the location where you can find the details for this memory manager parameter expand collapse, the global allocation limit change dynamic. No, I'll have to check for it. I know where it is, but I don't remember. But right now, whatever parameters I have showed you, those all are dynamic parameters. They can be changed dynamically without restarting the HANA database. And then the global.ini log mode persistence log mode. I don't remember. I will check it and I will get back to you. Okay. Oh, no, sorry. I'll check for you where can you find whether that parameter is dynamic or static.
Sure, sure.
I think sometime before I had already also shared this information in the group training group. No problem. I will check it and let you know. Okay, so here it is. So now, before going ahead with taking the database backup, let me go and check whether my automatic log backup was successful or not. So earlier when I saw in this location, last time when we checked in this location, there was no backup directory. Now when I run the ls command, let me see. No, still there is no backup directory. So I think the reason is that because we haven't taken any successful full backup. That's the reason I think it is not backing up the log, maybe something like. Okay, so now let me take a full database backup. So here how you can take a database backup. Okay, from your S4D backup and recovery, you have to go from your system DB, right click, and here you will find the backup and recovery option over here. Here you can see backup system database, backup tenant database, recover system database, recover tenant database. So this option is only available under system DB. If you right click on the tenant database, see under backup and recovery, there is no option over here to backup and recover your databases. So it is only available in your system DB. So here you can go into backup and recovery, backup system database. So here is a backup and recovery, backup system database, the backup destination. So it is asking if it will backup your database in this location. Excuse me. Yeah, sorry. Okay, so it is giving you the backup destination location where it will take your backup. So the location is correct, no issues with the location. But see, if you cannot recognize that the name doesn't is not recognizable. For example, when you take this first backup, it will store it into this location. But when you again take the second backup, it will overwrite on this location. So that is the reason whenever you're taking a backup, you should have some time, you put some kind of timestamp in your backup directory so that you can understand in the next time by looking at the backup directory, when was this backup taken, on which day and on which time. So here, In this, I'm putting, see, this is the end from in front of this backup in front of the backup destination, I am putting this timestamp. So it is underscore year, month, date, and the date and time. So I can put the timestamp over here, underscore and 2022-03-27, again underscore, and the time will be, now the time is 21:23, the time is 21:23. So this is the time of my backup. So I'm changing the backup destination and I'm clicking on next, and it is giving me a summary. You can review the summary and you can click on finish. After clicking on finish, it will start taking the backup of your system database. So now if you come into your backup location over here, now here if I click on ls, now you can see that a backup directory has been created. If I go into the backup location, now if I go into the backup location, I can see this is the backup of my current directory. This is a backup of my current backup which is going on. The system DB, this is the timestamp of that backup. So you can see one volumes were backed up. The backup was successful. Now you can close the backup for this. So that was the backup for my database. That was the backup for my system DB. Now you can take the backup for your tenant database. So the same way you can do it. Right click, backup and recovery, backup tenant database. Here you have to select the tenant database of which backup you want to take. So in our case, there is only one tenant database. So I will just click on this. In other cases, if you have multiple tenant database, then you have to click the multiple tenant databases over which backup you want to take. So I'm taking this backup for this H4D. Next, again, it is giving me the backup destination. I just have to add the timestamp. So I will just copy the timestamp from here. So this is my timestamp, and right now the time is 2125 instead of 23. It is 25. So this is my timestamp. I'm clicking on next. So this is giving me a summary of my backup settings. You can review it and you can click on finish. After clicking on finish, it will start with the tenant database backup. Now it is backing up the tenant database. And again, if I go into my OS directory, if I click on ls, see, now you can see it has again created a new directory for my tenant backup. And the timestamp 21/2125, 925 here was for the earlier 923. Let me check if it has created any log. So you can see it has created this file structure for the log ls minus capital R. So here you can see for my tenant database, it has backed up this log files. These are the backups of my log, and these are the backups of the system DB. This is the backup for the system DB, and this is the backup for your tenant DB. Log backup. So here you can see 2 volumes backed up. So the database backup was successful. You can click on close. So the backup was successful. Done. Okay. Now backup catalog. What is the backup catalog? The backup catalog is the area where it keeps a track of all the backup which it has taken. So where is this location? It is under the system DB, under backup catalog. So in the same system DB backup, in the here you have the backup catalog tab. Under the backup catalog tab, you can see the backup for the system DB. This is the time for your backup of the system DB. We can click on the drop down and you can select the tenant DB. So this is the time of the backup of my tenant DB. So on this date and this time, the backup, the database was backed up. The duration, the time it took for the backup, 24 seconds. It took 24 seconds. The size of the backup is 2 GB 30, 2.3 GB. And the backup type was data backup, not log backup, data backup. The destination was file backup. It was a file backup. And similarly, you can get it for the system DB. Now it doesn't show the log backup and delta backup. If you want to see the log backups, you have to click on the log backup, show log backup. So now here it is showing the log backup. So you can see this is the data backup. After the data backup, this is the log backup. Okay, these are the log backups of the system DB. And if you click on the tenant DB, so these are the log backups of the tenant DB. You can see 926, 926, 926. At this time, the backup, it has taken the backup for my tenant DB, the log backups. Is it clear?
So yeah, Muzaffar, this is total 4 types of you can say tool we can take backup: OS, application, through backup application through Cockpit. So this one is from the HANA backup tool, correct?
No. So in that slide now, this tool is not mentioned.
Yeah, it is not mentioned, but which category?
Because there the slide, the topic of the slide was how to schedule backup. From HANA Studio, I can fire backup, but I cannot schedule backup.
Okay. No, we were able to schedule the backup also, na?
From where?
Here. No, when we were scheduling our backup, there was a frequency through which we can write down, and I mean, we can select where 15 was there, you have changed it to 5.
That was only for the log backup. That is only for that. We have only changed the configuration for the automatic log backup.
Okay.
Okay, it's already scheduled. We from this, we are not scheduling the backup. It was already.
There was no schedule. Yeah, it was a log schedule, but log was scheduled. Correct?
But it is not. See, we didn't schedule the backup. It's already scheduled. We only change the frequency.
Okay.
We only change the frequency. We can just enable automatic backup. We can disable automatic backup. So automatic log backup is the feature already provided by the HANA database. You can only enable it. You can only disable it. We are not scheduling it from here.
Okay. So for scheduling, we can't use this. So this is just a one-time backup, you can say.
Yes, this is for the configuration. This is for the management administration of your system, and just for other changing the parameters and everything, and taking one-time backups, not regular backups.
Okay. So suppose if we have to take a backup in hurry, we can take the database backup and system backup from this tool.
Yes, you can.
Yes. Okay.
So if it's a one-time backup, you can schedule it from here. You can trigger it from here, not schedule, sorry. Okay, so now what happens? We have taken, this is the backup catalog. This is the location where you can see. So back catalog is something which contains all the information about your database backups. At what time, on which day, at what time, which backup was taken and which files were backed up. Okay, this is not the backup. This is only the information about the backup. Your backup is in this location. Your backup is on the operating on the OS level under this directory USR, SAP, SID, HDB, instance number backup. Under this you have all your backups, and here is your backup file. If you see the minus CSH star. So you can see this here, your tenant database backup is of 2.3 GB, and same is your system DB backup of 2.3 GB. Your log backup till now is for 5.1 GB. So these are your backups. This is the backups on my local disk, and this is the information about my backup. This the backup catalog contains the information about the backups.
Where is this catalog located?
Catalog located. Yes, it is 1 minute. CD backup, USR recipe, HDB backup. I'll have to check for that. I'm not sure about that. Where is that backup catalog located over here? I'll check it and I'll get back to you. Okay. Let me check it from here. Yes.
In few application, we take catalog backup also.
Here at the time of backup, it is also backing up the catalog backup also. Catalog local. If you see over here, for my this location, topology index server access engine. This is the location of my backup, and this is my log backup. It is logging up the 00. Okay, 00. If you see over, I think the 00 backup, this one, the 00 is the catalog backup. See, can you see the source type catalog?
Yes, yes, yes. Okay.
And second here, you can see this is a volume backup. This is a volume log backup. So these are the log backups, and here it is also backing up your catalog backup also, the information about your catalog also. So at the time of every backup, every log backup, it is also backing up your catalog also. So this is the catalog. This is the type of volume. This is also catalog. Can you see this is a 00 type? The log underscore backup underscore 00. This is for your catalog backup, and these are for your underscore 2 underscore 0. This is for your volume backup. This is for 3.0. This is the backup of your tenant database. 3 number. The 3 number is the backup of your tenant database. If you can see the location. This is the backup of your tenant database. DB underscore H4D. Here it is. Okay, so we are seeing the backup catalog backup where it is where you can see the information about your backup catalog for the database and for the SID backup. Okay, now how about some recovery? How to recover your database? How we can recover a database? So for that, we'll create some test data. We'll create some test scenario to understand how the recovery is done. So for that, let me open, before doing the recovery, I'm opening this console for my SID, for my tenant database. So H4D at H4D. Here, instead of this system DB, I'll go into H4D at H4D. Here, I will right click and I will open a console, open SQL console. So here on this open SQL console. So this is giving an SQL console for the tenant database. What I will do here, I will create a table test. I'm creating a test table by the name of city. Sorry, I'm table by the name of test, which contains 2 columns, city column and country column. And then I will put some data inside that column, inside the table. Okay, so where it is, this table will be created under, if you see, come over here, catalog. If you open the catalog on the left side and go for the system, because I'll be creating with the system user. So it will be created under the system schema under here, under the tables over here. So here, if you see right now, it will be empty. This location is empty right now. Refresh. Okay, this is empty right now. So now here I'm creating this table. I'm creating the table, create table test, and with these 2 columns. So I'm giving a paste or okay, I'm putting this SQL query and I'm executing it. So from here, execute F8, I'm executing this query. So if you see over here, successfully executed in 12 milliseconds server processing. So I've created a table. So now I can test it from my command from SQL query also, and I can test it from here also. Just again, right click on it and click on refresh. So can you see over here, a table is created here by the name of test under the system schema, under system user schema. Under the system user schema, a test table is created over here by this. If I want to check it from the command line, I can, before you can run this command, select star from test. So I'm running this command, execute it. So you can see the table is there, but there is no data inside the table. The table is empty. So now I will put some data in my table. What I'm doing here, I'm putting some data inside my table. Okay. Control A, control. I'm inserting some data, test data into my table, and I'm executing it. Okay, I've executed the table. It says successfully executed in 8 milliseconds. All this. Now I can run again this select star from test. Select star from test, and let us see what is there. So now I can see that test data which I had inserted into my table over here. Now what she says over here, note down the current time. So what is the current time right now? It is 9:37. The current time is 9 hours and 9:37 minutes. Okay, so just for my information, I will put the 9 over here as 21:37. Okay, this is the time right now, 21:37. Now I'm again putting some more data into my table. I'm again adding some more data. So again come into the SQL from Control A, Control V. Again, I'm inserting some more data and I'm executing it. Can you see I've executed my info data? Again, let me check the content, select star from test. I have again executed the information. So again, I can see last time it was up till 5 rows. Now I have 10 rows in my data over here, in my table over here. Again, added some information. Now again, I have to, let me note down the time, 21:38 something. Okay, now again, I'm adding some data. So now again, I'm going over here. Again, I'm inserting some information into my table. Let it cross this minutes so that we can execute this. Okay, now the time is 9:39. So after at 9:39, I'm inserting more information into my data. I'm executing it, successfully executed. Again, I'm checking the final information, final data in my table. I have 15 rows in my table. I have 15 rows in my table. This is my data. This is my test data. And again, if I see the final time that it was inserted was at 21:39. Now what I'm doing here, select star, it is done. Let me just done. Data is now there. Wait for the next log backup. Now you have to wait for the next log backup. Maybe I think at 9:40 the log backup should trigger. So all this information which is there, it should be taken down to my log backup. Okay, so now it is 9:40. Let me check for my backup over here. Let me refresh this backup. So here till 36, it has taken the backup till 36. Let this minute cross. It is not triggered. Okay, it must be like, because see, this backup was triggered at 9:36. So after 5 minutes, this backup will trigger. It is not as per your clock timing. It is as per the last backup. So the last backup was triggered on 9:36. So the next backup will trigger on 9:41:20. (9:41). Okay, so 9:20:40. Let me see if my backup has been triggered or not. Okay, so can you see the next backup which came out at 9:41:20 after 5 minutes. So now whatever information I have put into my table has been backed up in my log location. So now what are we going to do? Now let me do, I will be taking another backup. I will be taking a backup, but I will be taking an incremental backup. I will not take a full backup. I will only take an incremental backup. So all my information which is there in my table will go into my incremental backup. So now let me schedule an incremental backup. Again, I go into over here. Right click, backup and recovery. Backup, I will not backup the system database because there was no changes made in the system database. Okay, sorry for an interruption. So let me take another backup. I'm taking, and I will not be taking a system backup because there was no changes made in the system database. I will be backing the tenant database. Backup tenant database. So backup and recovery, backup tenant database. I will be backing up the SID data, the tenant database, H4D. Next, okay, here instead of taking the backup type as complete backup, I will be changing it to incremental backup. Change it to incremental backup. So here, if you see the prefix changes to INC. Okay, and here also you need to add the timestamp, the timestamp of the backup. So this is where how we are taking the backup. The time right now is 21:43. So this is my incremental backup time. Next, finish. Okay, 2 volumes are backed up. So now if you look, come into check into my this location. So now I have this incremental backup at this location, 21:43. This is my incremental backup. How I recognize this? If you check the content of this backup, the prefix of the backup files will be INC. It will start with INC. It will start with INC. And if you check for this full backup, this location, it will start with complete. It is the complete data backup, and here it is incremental data backup. So this is how you can recognize the backup type. So I have taken incremental backup. And if you want to check over here, you can just refresh the screen. So now, okay, it is not showing over here. Can you see? This is the data backup, and these are all the log backups. It is not showing the incremental backup. Why? Because we have not checked this box over here. It says show delta backup. If you click on this, then only it will show you the incremental backup over here. This is the incremental data backup. This is the data backup. These are the log backups in between, and these are the this is the incremental data backup. If you don't want to see the log backups, you can uncheck this. You will only see the data, the full data backups and the delta backups. Is it clear till now? Whatever we have done, any queries, any doubts, any? Yes, anyone?
Muzaffar,
Yes.
the another option that I saw in one of the screens was like manage the snapshot.
Okay.
Can you tell us something more about that?
No, will not be picking up that topic for snapshots. Okay, because that is a very like a different parallel stream, and normally it is done automatically by the database itself. Okay, it is a you cannot. Where did you see seen this screen for?
Yeah, somewhere over there. I don't remember. I suppose wherein you were trying to start the backup or somewhere. Just
Okay.
few screens back, I saw in one of the drop downs. I suppose when you were trying to trigger the backup of tenant database.
Okay.
I'm not sure exactly which. Yeah, just right click. Yeah.
Manage storage snapshot.
Yes.
Okay,
Manage
so
storage.
this is something a different stream. I would not go to right now and complicate the thing. So let us first check what we have already like working on. So let us not complicate it, because let us understand what is this normal backup and log backups and everything. Okay, so we'll see it some other time. So near what we have done till now, we have taken a backup of our database, and we have put some test data into our systems. Okay, we have put some test data into our backup data, and now what I'm doing now, I will be deleting the table. So let me come over here. Let me go into this console over here. So this you can see the table is still over here, the test table. Refresh. So this is the test table over, it is still here. Now what I'm doing, I'm going to delete the test table. Drop table text. Now here I'm deleting the test table. Execute, and you can see successfully executed. Now if you right click over here and click on refresh, so you can see the table has gone from here. The table has been deleted from the database. The table has been deleted. Now if you select, check on select star from the table name. Select star from the table name. Now if you see over here, you can see that it could not execute select, could not find the table test over here. So now we have seen that I have deleted the table. So now the similar kind of situation can also occur in your environment where some data is lost or deleted. And what you can do, you will get a request to restore that backup, restore the database to bring that lost data. Okay, so now here what we are doing after deleting the bit, what we'll do, we will be recovering, we will recover the database and we'll see whether we can recover it or not. So how to recover it? I will recover it, right click, again backup and recovery, recover tenant database, recover the tenant database. And I will be recovering the SID, the tenant database. Next, okay, here there are multiple options over here. I will directly go and I will click on the recover the database to a specific data backup. Okay, I will directly go and which backup I will restore? I will restore this backup. Okay, this backup which I have taken at this time. This is the backup which I have taken over here. After inserting everything, after inserting every data in it, test data, I had taken this backup. So I will be restoring to this backup. Okay, that was my incremental backup. So I'm coming to recover the database to a specific data backup. Next, backup catalog. I'll not be recovering without the backup catalog. Recover without the backup catalog. Next, and here I will give the path of that backup which I want to restore. Here I will restore this incremental backup. Okay, so sorry. So I'm directly restoring to this backup. Let me see. Next and finish. The database must be offline before recovery can start. The database will be stopped now. Okay. It is stopping the tenant database before starting the recovery.
So for every even the table restore also, so we have to stop the database.
Yes, I can't get you. What?
No. Even for recovery of a table or the incremental database, we have to switch off, means shut down the database.
Yes. So here actually I'm restoring the table just for your information purpose.
Okay, anything means a complete database I am asking. So in real time, we cannot restore. For that, we have to shut down the database.
Yes.
Whatever the activity is running, that will stop and restore, and then it will continue. Correct?
Yes, that is it. Okay, the reason it has failed because I gave it the path to a incremental backup. Recover database finish, recovery could not complete, no such file or directory. I think it is the reason access flags 2143. All right. This full error. This full. Okay, let me check why it is showing as a this full. df -h. No, there is not this full. Okay, that is a misleading error. It is not a this full error because I gave it a path for. So let me again start a new recovery. Okay,
maybe a path is not correct.
1 minute. Backup.
Copy paste that path if it is there.
Okay, let me see. Start a new recovery, recover the database to a specific backup. Next, recover without the backup catalog. Okay. This is for the 2143. Yes. DB_H4D. If you check it over here, it will show you for this 24H43. Let me cross check this path. ls. Okay, this path is proper. I think I know it is because I'm giving it the path for the incremental backup. It is giving an error. Let me check. Next, finish. Start database for recovery. Okay, so let me start a new recovery, recover the database to its most recent state. Here, I'm not going to do any, let me just recover the database to its most recent state. But in the most recent state, I will also lose my table also because in the most recent state, the table was deleted. So now recover the database to the following point in time. Let me go with the most recent state. Okay, it will search the backup catalogs. Next, the database must be offline. Okay, so recover without the backup catalog. Okay, it will give the list of the recovery points over here. See, you can see fetching backup catalog. So this is the latest one over here. It is the effort 2125. So this is the location of this alternate location. Refresh it. Okay, now let me click on next here. Location, even if no log backup, the get a location needed to read data that will be used for recovery. If the log backup will be okay, next file system delta backups. Okay, also going to use the delta backups. Next, so here you can see over here log backup. It is now using it from the log backups. It is using from the catalog backup location. The data backup is for the 925. Okay, 1 minute. File system. Log backup. Next, this location file system. Check the availability of delta and log backup on file system. Check if you want to perform recovery using delta backup, which is the perform recovery that delta and log backup will be used. Okay, let me just run this recovery. Finish. So you can see it has started the recovery. Recovery is running. Now it is doing the recovery.
I think it will recover the database which we have taken, but it will not apply the logs.
Yeah, the same thing I have to check over here. Let's see. What I am fearing is that it will recover, it will restore, it will recover to the recent state. And the recent state, we have already deleted the table. So, okay, let's see. Let it start up.
Let's
Now
see,
it has done the recovery. Now it is starting the database. It is restarting the services. Okay, so here let us go and close this. Now let me check the table whether it was recovered or not recovered. Refresh. Okay, can you see the table was not recovered because it has recovered to the most recent state.
Means when the full backup we were taken.
Yes. So now what I will do, instead of that, I will do a point in time recovery. So if you see from here, I have taken the times till which I have done the update. So this was the time till 9:38. So now I will do a recovery up till 9:38. Right click, backup and recovery, recover tenant database, H4D. Next, recover the database to its most recent, recover the database to the following point in time. So 27th of March, the time will be 21:38. Time will be 28:38:0. So I will recover the database up till this time. Next, search location. Next, database must be offline. Okay. Now it is reading the catalog backup and it will give a list of all the files and logs that will be used to do the recovery. Okay, so this is the location and it will use the file. So let me click on next, 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 and so here I have mentioned the time 9:38. Here it will do the recovery up till 9:38. So let me click on finish. So actually here at this point, I shouldn't take a incremental backup. I should directly go for a full backup so that I can restore to this point, and then afterwards I can show the point in time recovery. Backup tenant database.
Right now, we cannot recover point in time, no?
We are
Because
doing
from
point
where
in
it
time,
is.
no? We are doing what?
Okay, let's see whether it is there or
Okay,
not.
so now click on close. Let me see the table. Refresh. So can you see I have recovered the table?
Yeah.
Now
Okay,
let
it has
me check
taken.
how much of data is there. Select start from test. Can you see only 5 rows are there? So that the backup was
Yes.
recovered, I think, till this location. Actually, this should, I think, go above over here. It was created. It was up till this time. It was only till up. Let me check up till. Let me again do a recovery. Right click, backup and recovery. Backup tenant, recover tenant database. Next, recover database up till 939. I will now I'll do up till 939.0. Next.
It is recovering from our incremental backup, correct?
No, it is using both of them. It will decide on itself whether it will be using the full backup, the delta backup, or the log backup. Okay, because see how you cannot use the incremental backup. 1 minute, let it complain. See, if you remember, we took the incremental backup at this time.
Okay, yes.
Okay, now if I'm doing a point in time recovery to this time, but if you restore this till this incremental backup, all this information will be restored till here, not till the point in time.
Okay, so it is deciding on its own. Once
Yes,
if
it
we
is
have
deciding
the
on its own. See, if you see over here, use delta backup. Select this option if you want to perform a recovery using delta backups. If you choose to perform a recovery without delta backup, only log backups will be used. So it is doing the calculation on itself. So here now it is going to do a recovery up till 939. Now click on finish. It's completing. Okay, so it is completed. It has recovered the backup. Now let us go close and let us see what the backup has been restored till now. So I'll click on select start from test. So again, till now it is only recovered up till say only the 5th of it. So I think let me check for my log backups. Log backup 955, 936, 941.
41 it was.
Okay, let me check for 941. Try to recover it till 941. Backup and recovery, recover tenant database. Next, recover up till 941. 941. Twenty-one 941 0. It is up till 941 0. Next, okay.
Hi, sir. This is Tawfiq.
Yes, sorry.
Sir, we have the last log backup was at 9:41 22nd, right? So if we take 9:41, so I think it will not recover on that time because before that it was 9:36.
Okay, let us check for that. Actually, it is not like that. Normally, see, you are taking a log backup every 15 minutes. Okay. Now, whatever the changes are done in the database, it is being recorded inside your log backups. So it doesn't mean you can restore your backup only up till the intervals of 15 minutes. Okay, even if your backup is changing every 15 minutes, I can record my backup to say, for example, the backup was going to run at 9 o'clock, again at 9:15. So I can restore my backup. I can record my database up till say 9 o'clock, 10 minutes and 11 seconds also.
Okay, got it.
Yes, yes, correct.
Okay.
Restart completed. Restart completed. Okay, it has been recorded. Now let me close. Let us again check for it. Okay. No, it is still up till I have not understand why it is not kicking from the backups.
Okay, recover full now.
Let me again. I did some mistake. Let it for. I think I need to. I think I am missing this point over here. I didn't fire a commit. So what is happened? I think the data is coming from the save point, not from the commit or something. This is my calculation. Okay, let me again do this. Let me again drop the table.
No, but Muzaffar, if there is no commit, that is the correct situation, because if something happens without commit, that data should come from the logs, correct? Because if commit is there, then obviously the data will be there. What we are trying to do is to get the data from without committed data. You can say data.
Okay, let me check this, because let me say I'm dropping this table, drop database. Okay, it is dropped now. Now okay, so there is no table right now. Now let me again do it from above. There is no table over here. Now what I'm doing, I'm creating the table. Execute table created successfully. Select star from test. Okay, it's a blank table. Now let me run it till now. Commit and execute it. Okay, successfully committed. Statement commit is also fired over here. So this data has been committed to the log file. Now let me take the time of this right now. What is the time? It is around 50. So the time is 22:06 and somewhat around 50. 22:06. Okay, so here till now, this is the current time for the commit, time of the commit, and then I'm doing again, I'm running this transaction. Control A, I didn't check for it. Select star from test. Execute. There's 5 rows in it. Now let me run this. It is not required. Sorry. Okay, now coming to the next point, it's 5 tables. Now again, I'm running this insert command, execute. The time is 10:46 something. The time here is 10:46. Okay, 10:46. Now again, I'm running this commit. Control A, Control A. It is now 10, 9, 10. 10, 9, 10. Okay, so now it is done now. Now let me check select star from test.
Incorrect something.
What incorrect?
When you were running all the statement and
Okay.
last statement was showing incorrect. I think commit it was not happening.
Let me check control B.
Yeah, see.
Okay, so I need for this insert statements, I need this
First one is okay, but the second.
okay, only up till this one. Control A, Control V. Now firing it. Okay, the time is 10, 10, 20. 10, 10, 10, 20.
Okay.
Now again run this last one. Find this. Executed, it is 10, 10, 45 something. 10, 10, 45. Okay, so this is the time for the 10, 10, 45. Select star from test. Okay, so now we have 15 amount of information. Now let me try to recover till this point. Only till this point. Let me see if there is a backup as we shall wait for the next log backup. Okay, I have till 10, 9. I'm trying to recover till 10, 10. But it will let us take. Now let me right click. Backup and recovery. Recover tenant database. H4D. Next. Recover database in the following point of time till 10, 10, 20. Let me recover it till 10, 10, 30. I'm recovering it till 10, 10, 30. Next. Next.
But we have not deleted the data.
No, but it will roll back, na? This
Okay. Yeah, it will be moved. Okay.
Okay, so now let me next. So we have actually 15 rows of data. Now it should come to 10 rows.
Yeah, it should come to 10.
Okay, close. Let me again go back. Let's start from test. Yes, can you see now?
Yes.
Okay, so it was the problem of commit. Actually, I was just doing it. So actually the data, when we received the data up till the 5 rows, it was coming from the save point. And after that, we didn't find the commit. So the data was not committed in the log, sir. So that was the reason I was not able to make that granular recovery. Okay, so now this is very good learning. So here is a commit over here. That is it. So similarly, if I want, I can do it before this also. Let us just give one final try. Let us backup and recovery, recover system, recover tenant database, H4D. Next, recover the database in most time the year. Instead of I'll try to recover it till 10/6/55, or just make it 10/7. I'll recover it till 10/7. Next, next, okay.
Here, the log is something like archive only.
It's the same. See, the logical, it's all logically same. Just some kind of like terminology and some kind of like a little bit of difference will be there.
So that means the log, the backup of logs is also important.
Yes.
To make it point in time, if we have the database backup, but if we don't have log backup, it will not.
No, actually, no, log backup is not required because see, we already have that log segments. So data, I didn't find the commit, na. I didn't find the commit. So data was not committed or it was not written on the log segments also.
No, that's correct. That's correct. But if we remove the log files from there, the backup of log files, it will not be able to go roll back to the point in time. That is what I'm saying. So
Yes.
even though the backup files are important, the log files are also important to make so that we can move to some point of time.
Yes, yes, that is it.
So
now
okay. That is what.
Let me just check it because now let me close this and let me again check the data. Till now it was till 10. Now again let me check it till execute. So can you see?
Yes.
The data was restored till this point. It was restored till this point when my data table contained only this much data. I hope that is clear with all of you. Okay, so any doubts and queries? Let us, I think it's quite late. Let us finish up quickly. Any doubts and queries?
No.
Yes, anyone else? Okay, then no problem. We'll wind up this session. Anyone if any doubt and queries, they can put it in our group. We will take it there. Okay. So yes, everybody, goodbye. See you next weekend.
Okay.
Yeah,
Bye.
bye.
Good night.
Bye.
Everyone.
Bye.
Bye,
Thank
sir.
you. Good night.
Bye.
Bye.